You think I'm alive in sun, in law relying on a diva-s fame to coast through life? Wrong, I'm the behind-the-scenes big shot in the entertainment industry, surviving by playing dumb. My diva wife thinks I'm tone deaf and can't play any instruments. To test me, she secretly signed me up for a full live-stream parent-child reality show and installed 360-degree cameras around the house. What she doesn't know is that the moment she turns her back, I'm whipping up a full banquet for my son, while casually composing a song that is quietly shaking the entire Chinese music scene to its core. Huh. Sunlight streams through the floor to ceiling windows, spilling onto the lounge chair. I can't help but let out a contented groan. Wrapped in this warm glow, free from KPI anxiety and the boss-esque glare, this life is the paradise I've always dreamed of. As someone who crawled through the bottom rungs of the entertainment industry in my past life and worked myself to death, reincarnating into this world is the biggest cheat code the heavens could have given me. No need to fight tooth and nail anymore. I just need to lie back, and I'll have wealth and status others couldn't earn in several lifetimes. My wife, Li Huanga, is the undisputed diva of the Chinese music scene today. She had just acquired the original company and transformed into a domineering female CEO, a business mogul. To the outside world, she was mysterious and unfathomable, but she had a little-known identity: my legal wife. Of course, this was a secret marriage, as Li Huanga put it when we signed the agreement. Shen Qi, we're getting married just for peace and quiet. My relatives are pressuring me hard about marriage. You need money, and I need a decoy. $20,000 a month as allowance. You can see other women, but don't let me know, and definitely don't get caught by the press. Just maintain the kept man image I've set for you, and I won't care about anything else. $20,000 a fortune to me, who in my past life couldn't even afford rent. More importantly, as a behind-the-scenes worker in the entertainment industry in my past life, I knew all too well how exhausting it was to be in the spotlight. Writing songs until I lost hair, revising plans until I coughed blood, and dealing with moody celebrities. Now all I have to do is lie around at home, scroll through short videos, admire beautiful women, occasionally cook, and maintain this perfect partnership. Even if my mind is filled with countless earth-shattering golden songs from parallel worlds, I never plan to leave any trace in this world. I'm not that great if good works get buried. So be it. What does it have to do with me? I just wanted to live my lazy life until that phone call shattered my peace. Shen Qi, I'll bring a few friends home today. Buy some ingredients, we'll have a drink at home in the evening and chat about something. On the other end of the line, Li Huanga's voice was cool and pleasant. I immediately grinned and responded loudly. Got it. I'll make sure you look great in front of your friends. What can I say? My wife has a nice voice, looks beautiful, and her figure is unbeatable. Even though we're in a contract marriage, with a clear non-interference in internal affairs clause, after 3 years of living together day and night, we've somehow built up a bit of revolutionary friendship. Wife works outside, husband takes care of home. We occasionally share a drink and watch TV. This mutually beneficial, trouble-free relationship has me utterly enchanted. I hopped on my second-hand 125 cubic centimeter scooter, bought with my first allowance money, and hummed a tune as I headed to the market. In this world where culture is slightly lagging but material abundance is extreme, the culinary culture is also an art. I still remember when I first moved into this villa, the cold shredded potatoes with chili oil I made had the picky Li Huanga devouring an entire small basin. After that, her private gatherings with close friends always chose my kitchen as the first venue. Soon, a table of dishes with perfect color, aroma, and taste was set. Li Huanga arrived on time with a few core friends from the circle. I smiled and exchanged a few pleasantries, then wisely slipped away, returning to the second floor to scroll through videos of pretty girls, leaving them space to discuss business. That's my survival wisdom. The lower my presence, the more stable my life. The gathering ended quickly. When I went downstairs to clean up, I caught a glimpse of Li Huanga lounging in the sofa in a supremely relaxed, Guyu slouch position. Her long, snow-white legs were casually crossed, outlining a breathtaking curve. I was in high spirits, thinking I could feast my eyes again tonight and even smile in my sleep. Shen Qi, Li Huanga suddenly put down her tablet and called me softly. I immediately put aside my little thoughts, trotted over, and with a flattering face said, "My lady, your command?" Normally at this time, she would tease me a bit, But today her brows were furrowed, her expression serious. "Two things," she said bluntly. You say, you say, I said, pretending to be relaxed, but my heart skipped a beat. "First, I've adopted a child." I was stunned, then laughed and said, "That's your freedom. You're the benefactor. Adopting a child is no big deal. This child needs you to take care of him." Li Huanga looked at me a bit sheepishly. I nodded and habitually rubbed my fingers together. "Gotta pay more." I thought she would, as usual, generously toss a card, or at least call me greedy. But this time, she looked troubled, her eyes flickering. "What's wrong?" I felt a sudden unease. No way does the female CEO want a free ride. Or has my good luck run out? Li Huanga sighed, her tone tinged with helplessness. "The company has been having some difficulties lately. The newly promoted young male and female stars didn't become popular, and the newcomer plan was also hindered. So this month's salary might be reduced and also delayed." "What?" I stared wide-eyed, almost jumping up. "What did you say?" "There's no other way." Li Huanga avoided my gaze. "How about we first talk about raising the child?" She rarely took the initiative to hold my hand and made me sit down, her eyes revealing a kind of seriousness and love I had never seen before. "Very coincidentally, this child shares your surname. He's called Shen Qi, 5 years old. He lost his memory in a car accident and both parents died. I spent a lot of effort before he accepted the fact that I am his mother and you're his father." My mouth fell open, my mind went blank. "But the fact is, facts don't matter." Li Huang interrupted me, her tone firm. "The child's mental health is what matters most. What you need to do is to cooperate with me, to create a new, happy, and harmonious life for Shen Qi." Looking at her determined, earnest eyes that seemed to radiate a saintly glow, I felt at that moment as if I were a despicable crawling insect, while she was a white dove in the sky. All right, I agreed in a daze. After going upstairs, I tossed and turned in bed. The ultimate dream of my life had only lasted 3 years, and now it was about to end because of a found child and a docked salary. At dawn, I sat up with red eyes, comforting myself that I was being too pessimistic. Who is Li Huanga? She's a diva, a business genius. Even if the company is in trouble temporarily, she can make a comeback. At worst, she can't be short of my paltry sum, right? However, when the first ray of morning sunlight illuminated the villa entrance, a luxury car stopped, and Li Huanga crouched down excitedly to hug a little boy. The last bit of hope in my heart completely died. Shen Qi had arrived. The little guy was sturdy and handsome, with fair skin, a high-nose bridge, thick eyebrows, and big eyes, strikingly good-looking. But when he looked at me, his eyes held no childlike innocence. Instead, they carried a hint of scrutiny. "Are you my dad?" He stared at me and asked. Li Huanga looked at me with hopeful eyes. I sighed inwardly and forced out what I thought was a friendly smile. Opening his arms, "Yes, I'm your father." Shen Qi tilted his head and said coldly, "A bit too early. Before we truly acknowledge each other, I must sign a contract with you." After saying that, he walked around me to the dining table, picked up a pen, and started writing. I stared blankly at the scene, then turned to Li Huanga and complained, "I'm starting to suspect he's your biological son. This first meeting is exactly like ours 3 years ago. It all starts with a contract." Li Huanga rolled her eyes at me. "That's better. The kid won't be taken advantage of out there. But I'm the one being taken advantage of now. I could cry. I have another person to take care of, and I have less money. The limited edition sneakers I had my eye on will have to wait again." Li Huanga spread her hands. "No way around it. The child's growth is most important. You have to learn to be a good father now. Xiaoquan's education is also your responsibility." Over the next 7 days, I truly came to understand the power of this Shen Qi. This kid is practically an old monster in a 5-year-old's body. He knows a lot and is deep thinking. Every day, he walks with his hands behind his back, putting on an air of maturity. If he's the least bit dissatisfied, he'll lecture you. It's worth mentioning that he's multi-talented, proficient in both piano and painting. He's definitely the kind of other people's child that makes you grind your teeth in envy. On the evening of the 7th day, taking advantage of Shen Xiaoquan's absence, Li Huanga pulled me aside and dropped the second bombshell. "I'm going on a business trip, return date uncertain. Xiaoquan's enrollment is still being processed. Please take care of him at home these few days. Remember, never tell Xiaoquan the truth. You must make him firmly believe that you are his father." I was dumbfounded. "How can you be like this?" The kid just got here, and you're already bailing? Li Huang's eyes sharpened. What does the agreement say? You handle the inside, I handle the outside. Now I'm going out to handle the outside, and you're unhappy about handling the inside at home. Believe me, I'll dock your pay. I shut up instantly. Li Huang tossed me the car keys. Be my chauffeur for the afternoon. Take me to the office, then to the mall to buy gifts for the trip. So we left the house with Shen Qi. However, the moment we stepped out, the back door of the villa was opened. Fu Qing, Li Huang's personal assistant and best friend, led a group of staff members wearing uniforms from the mom is on a business trip show crew, sneaking in silently. Move quickly, install cameras in all directions without blind spots. Fu Qing instructed in a low voice. Every room must be covered, especially the living room, kitchen, and children's room. If there are any problems, you won't have time to set up again. Remember, this is a secret recording. Shen Qi must not find out. The resplendent program venue. On the large leather sofa of the observation panel, the three female celebrities introduced first were all dolled up in exquisite makeup and radiant attire, as if competing in a beauty contest. They were all at the level of divas and best actress winners. One was Lin Xiaolu, one was Zhu Yi, and one was Bai Qinghe. But when Li Huang appeared, all eyes were drawn to her, and the applause and cheers grew even more fervent. Her flawless face, alluring figure, and immense popularity ignited a frenzy of cheers both at the scene and in the live stream. The four hugely popular female celebrities from the entertainment industry gathered together, their unspoken rivalry self-evident. Each of the four belonged to one of China's four major entertainment companies and was their flagship star. The large-scale, immersive, live, streaming suspense show Mom is Away on a Business Trip, co-produced by the four major entertainment companies, went live with a splash. The beautiful host Fong Qian and handsome host Li Lei kicked off the show with passionate energy. Dear viewers in the live stream, welcome to the live broadcast of Mom is Away. This program is jointly produced by four of China's most renowned entertainment companies: Huanga Entertainment, Black Crystal Entertainment, Anna Entertainment, and Glory Entertainment. The observation panel, featuring top-tier divas and best actress-level artists from these four entertainment companies, is now in place. We have selected three special families and will use an immersive observation method to showcase the daily routines of young fathers taking care of their children at home. During the live broadcast, we aim to provide guidance on proper life values, worldview, and ethics. It must be emphasized here that the families being broadcast are unaware of it. In other words, this program fully observes the most authentic daily life of a father taking care of his child at home. Shen Qi opened his eyes. Oh well, can't sleep in any more now that there's a brat in the house. Shen Qi got up, quickly dressed, and came out. The barrage comments immediately became lively. Wow, a huge villa. This family is super rich, clearly not an ordinary household. According to the introduction, Shen Qi is just in his early 20s, and the kid is 5 years old, young and handsome. He must have latched onto a rich woman. How else could he afford such a big villa? I can tell one thing. Shen Qi's big villa is missing me. I wouldn't mind being a stepmother to his child. Such a young father. Not even mature himself, can he really take care of a child? After a quick wash, it was already 8 in the morning. There was noise from upstairs. Little Kuan, go wash up first. Shen Qi called out. From upstairs came Shen Xiaoquan's dissatisfied voice. Article 1 of the Father-Son Agreement. Shen Qi shall not interfere in any of Shen Xiaoquan's affairs, nor make any decisions for him without permission. Have you forgotten? Shen Qi shouted again in anger. I'm telling you, Shen Xiaoquan, your mother isn't home if I hit you. No one's going to stop me. Shen Qi opened the fridge, took out some eggs, went to the kitchen, got a bowl, poured in flour, cracked the eggs, and stirred skillfully. Then he washed a few cabbage leaves and cut them into shreds. He heated the wok to make drop soup. On another burner, he started making pancakes. It seems this father is quite skilled at cooking. The simple drop soup and pancakes look really appetizing. Fong Qian smiled. Li Lei also smiled. Many women say that a man who cooks is handsome. Shen Qi is already good-looking, and he looks even better when cooking. It seems this family is very happy. I finally get Shen Qi's charm. Zhu Yi smiled and said, while Lin Xiaolu and Bai Qinghe nodded with smiles. His appearance is certainly undeniable, but he's too young. Young and handsome mostly means not good with kids. I'm really looking forward to it. Li Huanga could barely contain her smile. When she's not at home, Shen Qi and Shen Xiaoquan will definitely mention Li Huanga in their conversations. By then, everyone will know that this is Li Huanga's family. This way, the show's popularity will skyrocket. When Shen Qi's gentle and family-oriented nature, along with Shen Xiaoquan's intelligence and thoughtfulness, are revealed, it will greatly boost Li Huanga's career. If Shen Qi also showcases some of his musical talent, it will be a massive win. The live stream chat was filled with praise, especially from female viewers, whose eyes were sparkling. In the frame, Shen Qi flipped the small pancake, then suddenly started singing in a playful falsetto voice. Picking up menura down. La 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 la. How come can't find my woman when he come home? La 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 la. The studio was instantly stunned. The bullet comments exploded immediately. Damn, such a refined rich guy cooking and singing this. I just got an appetite, so you can't judge a book by its cover. He's even humming his own accompaniment. Is his musicality that good? The show erupted with laughter. The three members of Fan Binfen were clutching their stomachs, tears streaming, pointing at the big screen and cackling. Oh my god, I'm dying laughing, ha ha. What song is this? I've been in the music industry for years and never heard of it. If you ignore the lyrics, this tune actually has some charm, ha ha. Li Huanga's face twitched, feeling his stomach churn and blood pressure rise. Every morning for the past 3 years, when this guy was making me breakfast. Is it the only song they sing? Shen Qi on the big screen starts shaking his butt. I've searched all the neighbors high and low, can't find my woman. I'm worried sick dumb. Wazzy, I'm sweating buckets. 2 officers are coming my way. Dum. I don't know grain. Nor do I owe rent. Why are you at my place, ah? The other 3 female celebrities on the observation team completely lost their usual elegance, laughing so hard they were almost rolling on the floor. Li Huanga stared at the big screen with his mouth wide open, his mind a complete blank. So this is how Shen Qi behaves when I'm not at home, unrestrained and wild. Could the usually gentle and quiet Shen Qi have such a personality in private? Li Huanga suddenly felt a bit scared. If Shen Qi really has such a huge contrast, then how deep must his cunning be? You have to admit, this little tune is surprisingly catchy. Am I the only one who noticed that Shen Qi has a very perky butt? Oh my god, I laughed like crazy on the subway on my way to work. What's the song name? Shen Xiaoquan came downstairs and appeared in the shot for the first time. Oh, what a handsome young man, Fang Qian exclaimed. The dad is good looking, and the son inherited his looks. This father-son duo makes me love them. Fang Qian didn't finish because Shen Qi was still singing about picking up manure. Shen Qi, can you stop singing? It's just too awful. Shen Xiaoquan frowned, sitting by the dining table. Don't talk nonsense. Most people can't sing this song. Your dad's vocal skills are unbeatable. Shen Qi's voice came from somewhere. Ugh. Shen Xiaoquan covered his forehead, looking helpless. Having an irresponsible man in the house is really a headache. Luckily, at least one of the 2 men is dependable. Shen Xiaoquan covered his forehead, looking both frustrated and disappointed. How do you manage to hide it so well from my mom? I told her what you're really like at home, and she didn't even believe me. Li Huanga remembered that Shen Xiaoquan had told her a couple of days ago that Shen Qi was acting like he had epilepsy at home, but Li Huanga's first impression of Shen Qi's gentle demeanor was too strong. She simply didn't believe it. Now, Shen Qi brought out a steaming bowl of dough drop soup, served it to Shen Xiaoquan, and then brought out flatbread made with shredded potatoes and carrots. Shen Xiaoquan's eyes lit up, but he pretended to be displeased. What? With mom not home? You're already half-hearted. Just 1 soup and 1 pancake? TCH, Shen Qi picked up the pancake. Kid, you're too young to eat this. After saying that, Shen Qi's eyes suddenly lit up too. Xiaoquan, do you believe I can eat an entire pancake in 1 bite? Shen Xiaoquan was startled, staring at the pancake in Shen Qi's hand, which was as big as a plate. His face was full of doubt. 1 bite? No way. Want to bet? Shen Qi chuckled. Bet what? Shen Xiaoquan's expression turned sly. Shen Qi chuckled again. When your mom left yesterday, she gave you 500 yuan. I saw it. Let's bet 500. Li Huanga, damn, a father scheming for his own son's piggy bank, utterly shameless. Looks like Shen Qi has no standing at home he relies on cheating his son for allowance. Definitely leeching off a rich woman. He didn't please her well last night, so she didn't give him money. The two suddenly turned serious and went upstairs together. When they came back, they each slapped 500 yuan on the dining table. Ready, go. Shen Xiaoquan gave the command. Shen Qi grabbed the pancake with both hands, squeezed it into a ball, and stuffed it into his mouth in one go. Slap! Shen Qi's greasy hand landed on Shen Xiaoquan's money. I win. Ho, ho, ho. What a heartless dad. I am speechless. The method to cheat a kid's allowance is too despicable. If the woman of the house finds out, she'll be furious. Doesn't this reflect a man's tragic situation? If his allowance were enough, would a father be so stingy with his child's pocket money? As a fellow man, I see myself in him. Say no more, it's all tears. Li Huanga was on pins and needles in the studio, feeling like sitting on a bed of nails. Yet she still had to put on a cheerful act like the other three panelists, pretending to enjoy the show on the big screen. Is the pocket money I give her usually not enough? A full 200,000 a month. Shen Qi. Oh, Shen Qi. Isn't your greed showing a bit too much? The other three female panelists gossiped incessantly, but Li Huanga seemed to fall silent. Host Fang Qian took the opportunity to ask, Diva Huanga, what are your thoughts on this father's behavior? Li Huanga gritted her teeth inwardly, but forced a smile on her face. Very shameless. But the relationship between this father and child is like friends. That part is not bad. Lin Xiaolu immediately raised a differing opinion. As everyone knows, Diva Huanga has been married for a while and has always kept her family life private. Hearing you say that makes me a bit suspicious. I'm also married with a child. As a mother, I would absolutely never allow such a situation in my own home. Zhua Yi, as the rising young diva, is younger and holds more modern views. I think having a father like this is kind of fun. I've always wished for a father like that, but mine is too serious. Bai Qinghe also nodded. Indeed, a child would like such a father, but the child's mother would definitely not like such a husband. Li Huanga was angry inside, but didn't know how to argue, thinking of various ways to teach Shen Qi a lesson when they got home. I just think a family shouldn't be too dull. Maybe there's a twist later. In the frame, Shen Qi and Shen Xiaoquan finished eating. Xiaoquan, I cooked the meal, so washing the dishes is your job, right? Shen Qi wiped his mouth and asked. Shen Xiaoquan stood up. I am Busa. I need to practice calligraphy. Sure enough, in a moment, they saw Shen Xiaoquan in the study, diligently practicing his handwriting. His handwriting was even better than that note Shen Qi had seen earlier. Oh man, I'm worse than a kid. Xiaoquan must be only 5, right? Looks like he's got some serious skill. Don't say that. I'm currently beating my son. Shen Qi chuckled and reached out to press down on the paper Shen Xiaoquan was writing on. Sorry, but you need to go wash the dishes now. Shen Xiaoquan looked a bit wronged and dissatisfied as he looked up. You mean I have to do chores? Of course, Shen Qi nodded very seriously. Although you're only 5 years old, I need you to understand a principle. What principle? Shen Xiaoquan asked, his face dark. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Within your ability, you need to pay for what you get. Shen Qi's expression grew more serious. I cooked the meal, so washing the dishes must be your task. Shen Xiaoquan let out a cold laugh. What if I don't wash them? Shen Qi gave a bright smile. Only when the dishes from the last meal are washed can you have the right to eat the next meal. Try me, Shen Xiaoquan said defiantly. Then let's try. Shen Qi let go of his hand, even flashed a smile at Shen Xiaoquan, and left the room. Hey, isn't Xiaoquan only 5 years old? Does a 5-year-old have to wash dishes? Isn't that too strict? I actually think Shen Qi's approach is right. This way, it can establish a correct worldview for the child. Bullshit. Does a 5-year-old child in your family have to wash dishes? Li Huanga furrowed his brows slightly. Shen Qi, I specifically told you before you left to treat Xiaoquan well. He just got here, and you're making him do chores? How are you two going to get along in the future? Bai Qing has said coldly. I've specifically researched child psychology and family dynamics. Properly cultivating children's ability to do chores can enhance their hands-on skills, but threatening to withhold food is unacceptable. Lin Xiaolu nodded in agreement. The child is only 5 years old, at an age where nutrition and health are crucial. Starving him will be a loss far greater than any gain. I don't even have a boyfriend yet, so I'll reserve my opinion. Zhua Yi said with a smile. Li Huanga squinted and casually glanced at Bai Qinghe and Lin Xiaolu. They were similar in age to Li Huanga and faced fierce competition. Everyone in the entertainment industry knew the unwritten rules of variety shows. The production team had invited 4 major stars from the 4 major entertainment companies, sending a clear message. Without conflict and buzz, it wouldn't work. Moreover, Li Huanga had a grudge with these two. Li Huanga felt slightly displeased. No matter how good Shen Qi is, when you two said that, I just felt so uncomfortable inside. The younger the child, the easier it is to develop good habits. If it's at this level, I think this father did nothing wrong. Lin Xiaolu immediately covered her mouth, looking at Li Huanga with a shocked expression. Oh, Huanga, you need to be more careful. Everyone knows you don't have kids yet, but you can't have thoughts like that. Bai Qinghe also spoke with hidden meaning. Shen Qi used a despicable method to win 500 yuan by betting with a child. I really don't approve of this father's parenting style. Huanga, you should help your husband develop this mindset. If you ever have kids, treating them this way really won't work. Lin Xiaolu and Bai Qinghe both looked seriously at Li Huanga. We're saying this for your own good. Yes, it's all for your own good. Oh wow, for my own good. Li Huanga nearly rolled her eyes. We're all foxes here. Why pretend to be innocent little bunnies? I hope that when I have kids, they can interact with my husband like friends. And I think Shen Qi definitely won't let Xiaoquan go hungry. Li Huanga was absolutely certain of this over the past 3 years. Shen Qi's gentleness had long been etched into her heart. Perhaps it was that Shen Qi was a bit stingy, feeling he had done too much without getting a raise. Or perhaps it was because Shen Xiaoquan had just arrived, so Shen Qi wasn't used to it yet. That's it. It must be that Shen Qi is young and has no experience with children. Li Lei smiled. Then let's wait and see whether Shen Qi will really let Xiaoquan go hungry. Yeah, Fan Qian also smiled. What if Xiaoquan really goes to wash the dishes later? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Kids that age need coaxing, but Shen Qi isn't coaxing him. Maybe spanking can build habits, but in a show like this, it probably won't happen. My son is 5. Those child experts' methods definitely don't work. Gentle words and soft speech are absolutely useless. Shen Xiaoquan was very self-disciplined. Perhaps it was a habit he had already formed. He dutifully practiced calligraphy with a pen for an hour and a half in front of the camera. This left the live stream viewers exclaiming in disbelief. A 5-year-old boy is supposed to be lively, active, and mischievous, but Shen Xiaoquan really could sit still. For a moment, Shen Xiaoquan won everyone's favor. Shen Qi did a quick cleanup, then lay on the sofa and kept looking at his phone. When the camera zoomed in, everyone was a bit stunned. On Shen Qi's phone screen, there was clearly a woman with large breasts and long legs, and the woman seemed to be covered in oil? Ha ha ha. As expected, if a man isn't a womanizer, then dogs can stop eating crap. As a man, I think watching videos like this is normal, right? Shen Qi just did the housework. Can't he even look at busted beauties? My husband does nothing at home all day and still watches hot women videos. I think Shen Qi is pretty good. Li Huanga blinked her beautiful big eyes, staring intently at the big screen, her face full of disbelief. Is this person really Shen Qi? Although the agreement clearly stated that each party does not interfere with the other's affairs. But Shen Qi is usually really not lecherous. He never looks at things like this. Even if he is lecherous, isn't looking at me enough? Bai Qinghe's clear, cold voice rang out. I think Shen Qi is probably that kind of sanctimonious person. I feel sorry for the mistress of this house. Li Huanga immediately frowned. I can't agree with that. Teacher Bai Qinghe is married too. Can you guarantee that your husband is exactly the same in private as he is in front of you? Can watching a video of beautiful women really determine that someone is a sanctimonious person? Bai Qinghe gave a light laugh. It seems the diva Huangji still doesn't understand men very well. Lin Xiaolu laughed and said, first Shen Qi sang vulgar songs, then he cheated Xiaoquan out of money, then he threatened not to feed Xiaoquan unless he washed dishes, and now he secretly watches videos of beautiful women. These 4 points have already eliminated him in my book. Li Huang furuit herberoth. Right now, no one knows that Shen Qi is Li Huanga's husband. If they find out later, Li Huanga began to feel a little worried inside. On the screen, Shen Qi frowned and muttered. These beautiful women look curvy and long-legged, and they are pretty, but they are all vulgar and powdered. Compared to Li Huanga, they are far inferior. Li Huangji blushed deeply at that moment. a hint of sweetness welling up in her heart. Was I really that good in his eyes? There's nothing wrong with that. No one can compare to Huangji, the diva. So Shen Qi, that father, is a fan of Li Huangji. That makes sense. How many people in China aren't fans of hers? They're totally kindred spirits. Good one. Last time I got caught red-handed by my wife watching videos of pretty girls, I used this same trick. Bai Qinghe and Lin Xiaolu's faces dimmed instantly, a hint of jealousy creeping into their voices. Who would have thought? Even a dad is captivated by diva Huangji. Can't compare, can't compare. Zhuo Yi laughed and said, "It seems Shen Qi isn't seduced by looks, he just appreciates diva Huangji." Just then, Shen Xiaoquan pushed his head right in front of Shen Qi's screen. "I'm going to tell Mom you're emotionally cheating." Shen Qi gave a faint laugh. "Xiaoquan, you don't really understand the situation at home yet. Do you think your mom would believe you if you said something bad about me?" Shen Xiaoquan froze for a second, then immediately caught on. Watching this, Li Huanga felt very conflicted. She couldn't help but sneer inwardly. It seemed that she had really been deceived by Shen Qi. Shen Xiaoquan seemed unwilling to talk with Shen Qi too much. After glaring at him, he went to the study on the second floor. Shen Qi brewed a pot of tea, took out his laptop, and tapped away at it while drinking tea. Many viewers in the live stream were curious. Even when the camera zoomed in, they couldn't see what he was writing. All they saw was that he was typing a document. From any perspective, Shen Qi seemed jobless. The introduction also said he was a full-time husband. But now, it felt like he might have a hidden job. Maybe he's a web novel author like me. All my secret savings came from writing web novels, and my wife doesn't even know. The studio also started discussing, especially Li Huanga. She had never seen Shen Qi sitting at the computer, and she had no idea what he was doing. This made Li Huanga feel a bit worried, as if a sense of uncontrollability was spreading in her heart. Fortunately, Shen Qi hadn't shown any of the worst habits a man could have so far. The sound of the piano came from upstairs, the melody smooth and exquisitely played. The scene immediately switched to Shen Xiaoquan, who sat at the piano like a little adult, his expression serious and his playing earnest. Li Huanga couldn't help but curl the corners of her mouth. Good thing Xiaoquan was there to save the day. Li Huanga couldn't help but recall the first time she saw Xiaoquan. The memories of his parents' death were forgotten in the car accident trauma, but Shen Xiaoquan seemed like a vessel that had lost all the pain while retaining all the beautiful memories. Li Huanga had invested countless efforts into nurturing Shen Xiaoquan, and only after Xiaoquan acknowledged her did she bring him back. She wanted to give Shen Xiaoquan a brilliantly shining life. And Shen Xiaoquan was indeed talented at just 5 years old. He had already mastered most of the skills he was interested in. This was a genius. On the screen, Shen Qi, who had been listening attentively, suddenly furrowed his brows. No. A few notes in this section were a bit weak. Can you just say whatever you want just because you're handsome? It sounded fine to me, no problem at all. How can a stay-at-home husband who lives off his wife pretend to know what he's talking about? I've studied piano for 3 years, yet I'm not even as good as a child. Someone, throw this freeloader out. No, that's wrong, it's still too weak. Shen Qi frowned, but then his brow suddenly relaxed. He's just a 5-year-old kid with weak fingers. Playing like this is already not bad. Why bother with that? He went back to lying flat. In the video, Shen Qi lay down on the sofa again. Some viewers who liked Shen Xiaoquan were furious and scolded Shen Qi for being irresponsible. Zhuo Yi looked at Li Huanga. As the little queen of the music scene, Zhuo Yi was very skilled at piano. "Huanga, the queen, did you hear that?" At that moment, Li Huanga's mind was also a mess. At first, she thought Shen Xiaoquan's playing was fine, but after Shen Qi pointed out the problem, Li Huanga was initially a bit displeased. "Shen Qi, you're just pretending to know. Why are you doing that?" But when Li Huanga listened carefully, she did hear the issues in Shen Xiaoquan's playing. How did Shen Qi manage to spot such a subtle flaw that even professionals would find difficult to detect? Li Huanga looked at Zhuo Yi and saw the same thought in her eyes, so she nodded. Xiaoquan's piano playing was far above his peers at first. I didn't notice it either, but after Shen Qi pointed it out, I listened carefully. It is indeed a very minor issue that can hardly even be called a flaw. Just as Shen Qi said, a few notes were too weak. Everyone in the studio was suddenly amazed. Zhuo Yi also said, "That's exactly what I discovered. Anyone who can hear these subtle issues must have exceptionally strong piano skills." Wow. So it turns out I was the clown. Just now I was the one criticizing the most, never expecting Shen Qi actually heard it. Brother Shen Qi is so handsome, and he can even play the piano. I told you didn't just make that up. Wait, shouldn't the problem now be why a father doesn't guide his son? He actually chooses to continue lying flat. I can see from Shen Qi the attitude of someone used to living off others. Bai Qing has sighed helplessly. Dads often have this problem when taking care of kids. They just let things slide and avoid any extra work if they can. Right. Lin Xiaolu agreed. Whenever I notice such problems at home, I correct them immediately, so my husband doesn't act like Shen Qi. Li Huanga raised an eyebrow and looked at Bai Qinghe and Lin Xiaolu. Oh, teacher Bai and best actress Lin can detect such a tiny mistake. Or is it that your husbands can detect it? Bai Qinghe and Lin Xiaolu's expressions changed instantly. Hearing it and not correcting it is even worse than not hearing it, don't you think? Bai Qinghe retorted, and Lin Xiaolu added with a hidden meaning. Even if you can't teach, you can sign the child up for piano lessons. Zhuo Yi immediately laughed and said, Diva Huang's piano skills are already top-notch. No piano teacher can compare, right? Li Huanga looked at the screen again. The living room clock showed 11:30. Shen Qi was still typing away at the computer, while Shen Xiaoquan had been playing for over half an hour. Finally, Shen Qi stretched his body, closed the laptop, frowned, and stood up. Really, TSK. The perfectionist in me just can't stand it anymore. Shen Qi strode to the second floor and knocked on the doorframe of the music room. Shen Xiaoquan stopped, looking at Shen Qi with a puzzled expression. Something's up? Shen Qi said directly. Normal people have weaker little finger strength. As a child under 6, your little finger will be even weaker. I believe with your level, you should have noticed this problem. Shen Xiaoquan stared with wide, sparkling eyes, looking at Shen Qi in astonishment, as if he never expected Shen Qi to say these things. Shen Qi continued, so when you were playing just now, you unconsciously lifted your little finger, used the strength of your wrist to press the keys with it, and even played with your little finger lying flat. Shen Xiaoquan was shocked because Shen Qi was right. But could this unreliable dad actually play the piano? Shen Qi gestured with his hand and said again, actually, if you try lifting your pinky and playing it with a stable fingertip like the other fingers, you'll find that the pinky can also be easily raised above the back of your hand, just like the other fingers. If you want to train your weaker pinky, you can have it play more black keys, because black keys are higher than white keys. Only by lifting the pinky high can you strike the black keys effectively. Shen Qi suddenly pondered for a moment and pointed to the sheet music on the piano. Take the piece you just played, for example. To exercise the extension from your fourth finger to your fifth, you could try transposing this piece to F major or B flat major minor for practice. Give it a try. With that, Shen Qi turned around and was about to go downstairs. Wait, Shen Xiaoquan called out to Shen Qi. Shen Qi turned around and met Shen Xiaoquan's clear, shocked eyes. You can play the piano? Shen Qi chuckled and shrugged, neither confirming nor denying. Why would a lazy bum who lives off others teach me? Shen Xiaoquan asked, hey? Shen Qi was displeased. I'm your father. Is that any way to talk to your father? TCH. Shen Xiaoquan curled his lip. Shen Qi didn't seem that angry, he just tossed out a sentence. I'm a perfectionist. Your playing wasn't pleasant, and I'm doing this for my own ears. Anyway, I've taught you the method. Shen Xiaoquan, deep in thought, turned his attention back to the piano keys. Li Lei was also curious and immediately asked, Li Huanga, Zhuo Yi is Shen Qi, right? Both Li Huanga and Zhuo Yi nodded. He hit the nail on the head and directly offered a training method. Zhuo Yi praised, at least much more professional than me. Li Huanga's brain CPU was still smoking. She had considered Shen Qi might know music. She signed up this time hoping for an unexpected gain, but she never imagined he actually knew it. Or maybe he just talked nonsense and got lucky. I am dumbfounded. Is the bar for stay-at-home dads really this high now? Did you see? Shen Qi's laid-back, slacker attitude made even his son unable to stand it. So he wasn't polite when talking to him. Not necessarily. Being able to identify a problem doesn't mean Shen Qi is great at piano. But only a truly capable person can point out the problem. So my brother Qi is not only handsome, but also talented. Lin Xiaolu and Bai Qinghe seemed to have nothing to say after Shen Qi came out to give guidance. but they just felt that the atmosphere in this family was a bit off. The two exchanged glances, both seeing the thoughts in each other's eyes. Later, there would be live, streamed parenting shows for their two families. Although the production team required them not to tell their husbands and children to avoid problems, they still informed each other in advance and even made plans for the parenting on the day of the live stream. They planned what to do at what time, what effect to achieve, what persona to maintain, and so on. At that moment, the big screen in the studio showed Shen Qi playing the piano again. This time, he had made obvious progress, and in the bullet comments, some netizens who understood piano were exclaiming in surprise. Shen Qi suddenly sat up from the sofa and looked at the clock on the wall. Shen Xiaoquan, oh Shen Xiaoquan, it's already 12 o'clock. Since you haven't washed the dishes yet, I'm really going to make you go hungry. Li Huang's heart suddenly rose with a sense of foreboding. Lin Xiaolu and Bai Qinghe immediately seized the opportunity. Wouldn't putting down the first family make ours look even better? Their tone became angry. He was actually going to start a 5-year-old child. What kind of father does that? I am furious. I would never allow my husband to be like Shen Qi. I hope I can inform the mistress of this house. Amid Li Huang's worries, Shen Qi began to operate. He first took out some ribs, put them in cold water with ginger, scallion, and cooking wine to remove the gamey smell, then took out a piece of meat and minced it into filling. The extremely rhythmic sound of chopping filling rose and fell. Meat paste with egg white, minced scallion and ginger, cooking wine, light soy sauce, and oyster sauce. Orderly and skilled in his movements. Countless netizens' eyes lit up as they watched. Ah, a handsome man who can cook? Love it, love it. Don't say he's living off a woman. Shen Qi is handsome and cooks well. Some people can't even manage to live off a woman properly. What dish is he going to make? Is the mistress coming back? I think Shen Qi has a scheme, deliberately making delicious food to tempt Xiaoquan, just so Xiaoquan will wash the dishes next time. Lin Xiaolu and Bai Qinghe felt a hint of unease, knowing full well that their husbands couldn't cook. At the same time, a fleeting envy in their eyes betrayed their true feelings. How long had it been since they last ate a meal cooked by someone who cared about them? I think the mistress of this house must be very happy. Zhua Yi sighed with admiration. In the future, I want to find a man who's good at cooking. He looks so handsome. Li Huang felt pleased inside. Isn't this exactly the purpose of signing up for the Moms Away on Business show? To showcase Xiaoquan's genius and also show Shen Qi's dedication to his family. Cut the green peppers into sections, slit one side to remove the seeds, then stuff the seasoned meat filling inside. Heat oil in a pan, fry the green peppers until both sides are golden, then pour in the sauce Shen Qi prepared in advance. The steam rising from the pot made the live stream viewers feel as if they could smell the aroma through the screen. Shen Qi suddenly brought out a handful of dried plums, leaving the live stream viewers bewildered. I can cook plenty of home-style dishes, but I've never heard of using dried plums. Could be a weird dish? Is Shen Xiaoquan not doing the dishes, so his dad wants to poison him while his mom is away? Io, this handsome man is truly vicious. Is he trying to poison his son, divorce his wife, and then come running to me? Lady upstairs, if you keep dreaming, I'll pee on you and my pee stinks. Host Fong Qian asked in confusion. 3 of the observers are married. Do any of you know what Shen Qi is doing? Zhua Yi and the other 2 shook their heads. Li Huang, however, gave a slight smile and said, this dish should be called dried plum sauce ribs. My husband has made it for me. Bai Qinghe immediately felt displeased. Oh, isn't Diva Huang just showing off her love? No one here knows if you've actually had it. Lin Xiaolu immediately caught on. Then does Professor Huangji know how to do it? Li Huangji was slightly startled and shook her head. At home, she was used to the delicious meals Shen Qi made, but had Li Huangji ever really watched him cook? Every morning, as soon as she finished washing up, Shen Qi had already prepared breakfast and was waiting for her. Whenever she confirmed she would be home for the evening, Shen Qi would have already made dinner and be waiting. Each dish, with flavors even better than those crafted by renowned restaurant chefs, consistently excited Li Huangji's taste buds. This life had continued for 3 years. At that moment, Li Huangji suddenly realized a problem. When she couldn't go home due to a busy work schedule, Li Huangji always seemed to be thinking about the meals Shen Qi made. Whenever she felt hungry, images of the various dishes Shen Qi had cooked would appear in her mind. Li Huangji suddenly realized that over these 3 years, Shen Qi's cooking had become her habit, even her dependence when it came to food. It turned out that he was even more important to her than she had imagined. Li Huanga let out a gentle smile. My husband really made this dish for me before, but because I was careless, I never watched how he did it. Lin Xiaolu and Bai Qinghe still didn't believe it, or rather, forced themselves to deliberately not believe. Zhui Yi and Fang Qian, however, showed expressions of envy. It seems Diva Huanga's husband really loves you. A dish made with such care, if not for love, then what else could it be? That man stole my Huangji. If he treats her badly, I'll chop him to death. I'm so jealous of Diva Huangji. I wonder what kind of man gets to marry her. Look, Shen Qi really seems to be making the dark plum sauce. Could Diva Huangji be right? No way. So this dish actually exists. Sure enough, Shen Qi first pitted the dark plums and blended them into a sauce in the food processor, then poured the pre-blanched ribs into the pot and added 2 spoonfuls of the dark plum sauce. A fragrant mist rose up, filled with aroma. While stir-frying, Shen Qi suddenly started singing to himself with an exaggerated expression. Your faint smile is like plum sauce. I tasted the mint flavor of your lipstick at the corner of your mouth. It's sweet love, so certain it comes, because of every shy reaction of yours. Zhui let out a surprise sound. What song is this? Li Huanga grabbed the armrests of the chair. It's here, it's here. Shen Qi is singing again. Li Huanga was slightly stunned. Why did he say again? Again? Well, if that song Morning Collecting Dung counts. But this song is completely different. Get up early in the morning to collect dung. This is a pop song. Very catchy and pleasant to listen to. The barrage comments went wild. What song is this? I've never heard it before. It sounds great. The melody is simple and catchy. Is it an obscure song from some obscure singer? I checked. This song doesn't exist at all. So Zhui Yi covered her small mouth. Could it be original? Impossible, said Lin Xiaolu immediately. There's absolutely no way a jobless house husband could create something like that. I second that. Bai Qinghe also said immediately. Zhui Yi looked at Lin Xiaolu and Bai Qinghe with some confusion. Li Huanga glanced at the two of them. China is full of talented people. Who knows what genius might emerge from an ordinary household. Can a 5-year-old Shun Xiaoquan's calligraphy and piano skills be compared to ordinary children of the same age? Is it something an ordinary piano teacher could do to point out the issues in Shun Xiaoquan's playing? So why can't you understand that Shen Qi might be capable of creating? Lin Xiaolu and Bai Qinghe were left speechless by Li Huanga's words. Fan Binfen nodded in agreement. Goddess Huanga is right. So Shen Qi is no ordinary house husband. Perhaps Shen Qi does have a lot of skills, and it's these skills that support his ability to follow a rich woman and live off her, lying flat at home. So nowadays, the bar for living off a rich woman is really too high. Apart from being able to compete with Shen Qi in looks, I really can't compare in anything else. Kid, Sis recognizes your ID. This time, it's Sis's turn to dunk on you. The plum sauce spare ribs that simmered for 30 minutes are finally done. Shen Qi seemed to sprinkle sesame seeds in with a touch of reverence. As a perfectionist, I'm not just making a dish, I'm making a kind of tenderness. Shen Qi solemnly and dignifiedly scooped out the plum sauce spare ribs, lifted the plate, sniffed it, and nodded with satisfaction. Only with the utmost dedication can you make dishes with warmth. Only then can you make dishes full of love. Shen Qi spent over 40 minutes making 4 dishes. Plum sauce spare ribs, meat stuffed tiger skin green peppers, oyster sauce mushrooms, and vinegar fried cabbage hearts. At the same time, he also steamed a pot of steaming hot rice. The dish was a feast for the senses, but throughout the process, Shen Qi displayed a relaxed, skilled mastery of cooking. The profound sense of ritual he conveyed through his expressions and words added a deep reverence to this meal, simple in appearance, yet far from simple in truth. All of this made the meal seem like more than just a meal. Amazing. If someone could cook for me like this, I wouldn't still be single at 48. I really love it. This is the perfect man. If it were me, I'd be willing to let him sponge off me, be a kept man. This guy is truly infuriating. He's single-handedly raised the bar for being a kept man and taking it easy. If all Chinese women watch this live stream, where will I ever find a rich woman to support me? At this moment, Li Huanga's feelings were extremely complicated. Shen Qi lived up to Li Huanga's expectations, which was gratifying. But Li Huangya never knew that every meal Shen Qi made for her was so thoughtful even when she wasn't home. He cooked for himself with such devotion and seriousness. Li Huangya was deeply moved. This meal stirred more desire in Li Huangya than usual. Shen Qi habitually called out, "Huan." Then he smiled and scratched his head. She wasn't home. Li Huangya felt a pang in her heart. Shen Qi, oh Shen Qi, we're just in a contract marriage. Could it be that you've fallen in love with me? Li Huangya's face flushed slightly, but she saw Shen Qi glance toward the stairs. If it weren't to make Shen Xiaoquan jealous, I wouldn't have gone through the trouble of cooking. Li Huangya, speaking of which, why hasn't that kid come down yet? If he doesn't, how can I tempt him? Taha! Shen Qi is hilarious. Seriously, I can't wait to see how Shen Xiaoquan reacts. So cruel. Little Kuan is so handsome too. How can they bear to starve him? After watching Shen Qi cook, I've changed my mind. Shen Qi did everything, and Shen Xiaoquan didn't even wash the dishes, doesn't he? Kuan is only 5 years old. He practiced calligraphy and piano. Doesn't he even deserve a meal? Finally, Shen Xiaoquan came downstairs. Shen Qi seemed to be deliberately waiting for this moment, starting to eat only when Shen Xiaoquan looked over. Hysterical. Shen Xiaoquan's face instantly darkened. If I'm not mistaken, you were speaking English. Shen Qi chuckled. That delicious English could easily turn into hysterical, and you might just get a first-hand experience of it. Oh. Seeing there were no bowls or chopsticks for him on the table, Shen Xiaoquan went into the kitchen to get a set himself, then walked over to the rice cooker to scoop out some rice. A large hand suddenly pressed down on the rice cooker lid. Shen Qi said in a serious tone, "I've said it before, no washing dishes, no dinner." You? Shen Xiaoquan was furious. "Even though you're young, I still need to treat you like a man. As a man, your word must be golden. If you eat this meal, in the days ahead, you'll naturally dismiss what I say. As a father, I need to maintain my authority, and you need to earn your food through your own efforts." Shen Xiaoquan stared blankly at Shen Qi. He never expected that with Li Huangya away on business, Shen Qi would actually stand his ground. "You're really going through with this?" Shen Qi nodded. "It's better to teach you to be sensible at home now than to have society teach you that nothing comes for free later." The atmosphere suddenly turned cold. What Shen Qi said made sense, but why did it feel a bit over the top? Actually, I felt Shen Qi wasn't wrong. Children are good at finding adults' weaknesses. If adults can be strict, children will develop good character. Too cruel. Having exquisite dishes in front of you, but not being able to eat them is torture. Lin Xiaolu became even angrier than before. Nonsense, this is nonsense. Shen Qi went too far. The child's health should come first. Teaching children to do chores can be done with gentle persuasion. Why go to such extremes? Bai Qinghe stood up angrily. Zhui Yi slightly shook her head. She thought Shen Qi wasn't wrong. It was just one missed meal. Perhaps it would cultivate Shen Xiaoquan's good habit of doing chores. Li Huangya became conflicted again. She treats Shen Xiaoquan as her own child. While cultivating his many talents, she naturally also hopes that he will be sensible and well-mannered in social interactions. But Li Huangya felt that Shen Qi's approach was a bit too much. No matter what, you can't just deny a child meal. Shen Xiaoquan usually has a good appetite because he spends a lot of energy on his hobbies every day, so his energy consumption is high. But Shen Qi's expression was firm and unyielding. At this moment, no one thought Shen Xiaoquan would be able to have lunch. However, Shen Xiaoquan was very mature for his age and wouldn't solve problems by crying and throwing a tantrum like other children his age. Shen Xiaoquan also knew clearly that if Shen Qi wouldn't even give him lunch, crying and making a scene would only make Shen Qi less sympathetic. Growl, growl. The sound from his stomach made Shen Xiaoquan's face flush red. The fragrant dishes on the table made his mouth water. Shen Qi, what do I have to do to get lunch? Holy shit. Can you believe this is how a 5-year-old solves problems? I've long known Shen Xiaoquan was mature, but he can actually analyze people's minds and negotiate terms? Damn it. Now you're making me want to have a son. Shen Qi gave a faint laugh. You didn't wash the dishes from the last meal, so in principle, you shouldn't get to eat this one. But since you're solving the problem like an adult now, I appreciate that, so I'll give you a chance. The socks you took off last night are still in your shoes. Go wash them now. Shen Xiaoquan nodded. Okay, after all, those are my own socks. I really should wash them. Just as Shen Xiaoquan was about to leave, Shen Qi suddenly called out loudly. Right. Mm. Shen Xiaoquan looked at Shen Qi. Shen Qi suddenly said, those socks you wore are yours. You should wash them anyway. What does that have to do with this meal? So what exactly do you mean? Shen Xiaoquan regretted saying too much. Shen Qi pointed at the shoe cabinet by the door. You need to wash my socks. That means you're paying me an effort in exchange for the meal I've prepared. What do you think? Shen Xiaoquan shouted. Not good. Well then, looks like you don't want to eat this meal. Shen Qi sat down and started picking up food with his chopsticks and shoveling rice. Shen Xiaoquan swallowed hard. This father is way too harsh. Definitely not his biological son. His socks once knocked out my own son. The way this father and son interact is like two adults negotiating and pulling strings. Lady of the house, come out quick. Your son is about to get poisoned. Li Huanga was stunned. It seemed she had just thought of something. At home, Li Huanga had never washed any clothes except her underwear. It wasn't that Shen Qi refused to wash them, but they were only in a contract marriage, and Li Huanga didn't want Shen Qi washing her underwear. But Shen Qi did wash her socks. Shen Qi willingly washed Li Huanga's clothes and socks because she paid him money. He considered it part of his job. So now, Shen Xiaoquan also had to give something to get something in return. Li Huanga seemed to understand Shen Qi better, but she didn't think the proud Shen Xiaoquan would ever wash Shen Qi's socks. In the image, Shen Xiaoquan gritted his teeth and looked toward the shoe cabinet. Then I first need to confirm whether your socks really stink. Shen Xiaoquan had a reluctant look on his face as he washed the socks. Many people in the bullet comments were condemning Shen Qi, and Li Huanga's expression turned somewhat complicated. When Shen Xiaoquan finished washing the socks and hung them up, he returned to the dining table only to find that Shen Qi had already served him a bowl of fragrant white rice. He had also placed some dishes on top of the rice. Shen Xiaoquan looked at Shen Qi with considerable surprise. Shen Qi gave a slight smile. Maybe I'm not very good with kids, but I feel that when dealing with a boy, you can't treat him like a child. Your mother is very busy, so the two of us will have plenty of time at home. Inevitably, we'll have many differences in opinion. So, how would you like me to treat you? Shen Xiaoquan took a big mouthful of rice and didn't say anything. I think I should treat you like an adult. What do you think? Shen Qi asked. Shen Xiaoquan looked up. I'm already a man. Shen Qi laughed and clapped his hands. All right, a real man. Then from now on, we'll solve our problems the way men do. Watching this scene, Qing has suddenly said, as a child psychology expert, I've never learned about this kind of parenting approach. Children are children. I agree with treating them as friends, but treating them as adults will definitely cause problems. Lin Xiaolu also nodded and said, Teacher Bai is right. Children are children. Li Huanga was quite pleased seeing Shen Xiaoquan eat and seeing some effect from Shen Qi's discipline. But as soon as she heard Bai Qinghe and Lin Xiaolu start interfering again, she immediately became a bit upset. To achieve the show's effects and certain plans, Li Huanga tried her best not to say much. But that didn't mean Li Huanga had no temper. Li Huanga knew very well what Bai Qinghe and Lin Xiaolu were thinking wasn't it just to belittle the first family, so their own families could gain more recognition during the live broadcast? Somehow, I feel that Teacher Bai and actress Lin have been constantly nitpicking Shen Qi. I wonder how you two educate your children at home? Li Huanji asked. Bai Qinghe gave a faint smile. I have specifically studied child psychology and family studies. Our family educates children in the most scientific way. Lin Xiaolu's expression showed a hint of pride. I also often watch some parenting courses and videos. Li Huanji couldn't spoil anything, so she had to hold back for now. Oh, then I must take the opportunity to learn from you too. But after saying that, Li Huanji herself was slightly stunned. Bai Qinghe and Lin Xiaolu immediately looked at Li Huanji with probing eyes. Could it be? I have a bold guess. Bai Qinghe and Lin Xiaolu seemed to have been finding fault with Shen Qi's child rearing, while Huanji Diva appeared to be defending Shen Qi all along. Could it be? Impossible. This is a parenting show. Huanji Diva is indeed married, but has no children. So Shen Qi cannot be Huanji Diva's husband. The only one worthy of Huanji is me, Long Outyan. Shen Qi quietly waited for Shen Xiaoquan to finish eating 2 full bowls of rice. So, do you want to wash the dishes? Shen Xiaoquan wiped his mouth. I'll wash the lunch dishes, which means I'm qualified to eat dinner, right? Shen Qi smiled and nodded. Shen Xiaoquan stood up to clear the table. then took the dishes to the kitchen sink. The sound of running water came, and netizens immediately exclaimed in surprise. Many people find it difficult to raise children, not to make them do chores for parents. But often parents think of cultivating the child's diligence and hands-on ability. But most of the time, they soften because they love their children too much. Shen Qi achieved this effect with just one meal, causing many people to shift their stance and think his approach was right. Shen Xiaoquan also gained another wave of fans. Want to take a nap? Shen Qi asked. Shen Xiaoquan's tone was a bit unhappy. The father-son agreement says you can't interfere with any of my actions. Shen Qi chuckled and spread his hands. Shen Xiaoquan watched Shen Qi sit back down at the computer and start typing, and couldn't help but feel a bit curious. What is this kept man doing? Could he be working? But Shen Xiaoquan didn't ask. His eyes darted. Then he turned and went to the music room to grab a guitar. He pulled up a chair, sat by the huge floor-to-ceiling window, played a melody, and started singing to himself. Hey, Xiaoquan, that's not very fair of you. You're trying to make my son look like a fool. He can even accompany himself on the guitar. His technique is better than mine, and I've been learning for 3 years. It sounds like Chasing the Moon, the new song from Suyu, a rookie at Joy Song Records. A little kid can actually sing with such deep emotion. Huh? Fu Qing, Li Huang's personal assistant at Joy Entertainment, stared at the screen, curiosity flickering in her beautiful big eyes. The sheet music for this song was only seen by Huang and Lin Duo from the creative department, but the chorus was modified. Could it really be Shen Qi? What will happen if Huang arranges for Xiaoquan to sing it in front of him? Li Huang, watching the scene, was also a bit excited. Shen Xiaoquan's guitar playing was truly impressive, with a hint of a childish voice that tried hard to mimic an adult's vocal style. It was very endearing. The countless compliments flooding the bullet comments filled Li Huang with relief. Bai Qinghe, not only an actress, but also a singer, had musical achievements that, though not exceptional, were still respectable. She could tell Shen Xiaoquan was skilled. She frowned slightly, but quickly relaxed. My son is no less than Shen Xiaoquan. Lin Xiaolu had the same thought at that moment. As Shen Xiaoquan's performance progressed to the chorus, he suddenly burst with emotion, sharply raising his pitch. Chasing that cold, clear moon, crossing clouds and seas, treading through starry rivers. Shen Qi's hands paused on the keyboard, his sharp brows furrowing slightly. Sensing Shen Qi's attention, Shen Xiaoquan stopped after finishing the first verse. He said nothing, and Shen Qi's brows relaxed slightly before he buried his head in the keyboard again. Shen Xiaoquan, however, frowned and once again played and sang the chorus of Chasing the Moon. This time, Shen Qi finally raised his head and slightly lifted his hand. Something up? Shen Xiaoquan stopped and looked at Shen Qi. Shen Qi let out a slight sigh. Ah, damn my perfectionism. Here he comes, he's about to nitpick again. Are you sure Shen Qi is nitpicking? He clearly pointed out Shen Xiaoquan's mistakes in playing the piano. Could a house husband actually know guitar? He's not about to raise the bar for being a kept man, is he? I'm really curious now what level of person is the mistress of this house. Shen Qi pointed at Shen Xiaoquan's left hand. 2 issues. First, your left hand isn't relaxed enough. Try starting from any string and fret with your left hand, and play a chromatic scale ascending. First, press the string firmly to sound the note, then lightly touch the same position this way. When your right hand plucks, it produces a muted tone. The comments section instantly flooded with question marks. Li Huang shot up from her seat. He really knows it. No, he hasn't actually played yet. He just gave professional advice. Everyone in the studio turned to look at Li Huang. Bai Qinghe and Lin Xiaolu's expressions betrayed their inner thoughts. Indeed, note that at this moment, the fingers of the left hand are quite relaxed. Experience this relaxed feel and unify it with the feel of pressing down firmly. This way, the pressure of the left hand pressing the strings will gradually approach the feel of pressing lightly, becoming relaxed. Then, practice ascending and descending semitone exercises with the left hand fingers alternating between sounding notes and muted notes. Move this practice to each string and each fret. The first problem is solvable. After saying this, Shen Qi even nodded. Yes, solvable, but Shen Xiaoquan's expression made it seem like he thought Shen Qi was absolutely right. Damn, my brain is fried. He actually understands. Wait, I'm a bit confused. Isn't Shen Qi a kept man? How is he so versatile? Love it, love it. This kind of calm, steady, confident vibe is like poison. I give up. My wife has been calling me a loser. What's the second one? Shen Xiaoquan couldn't help asking. Shen Qi nodded and said calmly. Second, your vibrato fingering is wrong. You're moving perpendicular to the strings, but the correct vibrato motion is to keep the wrist and fingers extremely relaxed, pressing on one spot without moving, while the fingers swing left and right along the direction of the strings. Shen Qi thought briefly and continued. Have you ever played with a roly-poly toy? The whole movement is just like a roly-poly. You could try starting with single notes, then double and triple note vibrato. Stand your left fingertips upright and practice on your right wrist first, then on the strings. That way, the second problem can be solved. Shen Xiaoquan was stunned. Before leaving, Li Huanga reminded Shen Xiaoquan that this man might be hiding his true abilities, but she wasn't sure. If that were really the case, Li Huanga hoped Shen Xiaoquan could draw out Shen Qi's skills. First piano, now guitar. As a child prodigy, Shen Xiaoquan could directly tell that Shen Qi's ability to identify problems and provide solutions was highly professional. That left only one thing. He had to get him to actually play. Shen Xiaoquan suppressed his shock and deliberately curled his lip. TCH, you talk a good game, but can you actually play? Shen Qi chuckled and spread his hands, neither saying yes nor no. Shen Xiaoquan immediately rolled his eyes. Oh great, this attitude again. You're all talk and no action. Play it for me. If you play better than me, I'll admit defeat. Shen Qi smiled and shook his head. Sorry, but I really don't care if you admit defeat or not. I just have a bit of perfectionist OCD. Shen Xiaoquan got anxious and stepped forward to grab Shen Qi's shoulder. You have to prove it to me. But he couldn't pull him. Hey, why are you grabbing me? It's not that I don't want to play, it's just that. Because what? Shen Qi suddenly said something shocking. Because this song is just too terrible. Shen Xiaoquan was stunned on the spot. Terrible? Does he know what he's saying? Chasing the Moon, created by Li Huanga and Lin Duo, sung by Suyu. It's still number 3 on the new song chart. This song is so popular, and he says it's terrible? Damn, saying Suyu's song is terrible is really asking for death. Li Huanga suddenly realized she was standing. She hurriedly sat down and met the eyes of Bai Qinghe and Lin Xiaolu. The 3 foxes all smiled faintly, each with their own thoughts. Not pointing it out is the rule, but the 3 of them all know in their hearts how to handle it. How could Shen Qi say that chasing the moon is not good? Zhuo Yi was a bit indignant and looked at Li Huanji. Doesn't he like the diva, Huanji? How could he say that? Li Huanji chuckled. A song can never please everyone, can it? Bai Qinghe and Lin Xiaolu were immediately filled with righteous indignation. Shen Qi is really too rude. Even if he really knows the guitar, that doesn't mean he understands music. What right does he have to say this song is bad? Li Huanji looked at Bai Qinghe and Lin Xiaolu. Do you two mean that an ordinary person cannot say a piece of work is not good? Or do you mean that your songs or films cannot be criticized by an ordinary worker? Or do you think I'm such a narrow-minded person that I cannot accept others saying my company's songs are bad? Li Huanji's tone was calm, and his expression was gentle. Since you all know, then I don't need to worry too much. Bai Qinghe and Lin Xiaolu's expressions changed slightly, then immediately returned to normal. Of course not. I was just standing up for Huanji, the queen of song. Right, no such intention. Li Huanga said nothing more, turning her head to look at the screen. Ugh, terrible. Shen Xiaoquan was angry. This was a song that Shen Xiaoquan really liked. Li Huanga had written the lyrics and participated in its production. Shen Qi nodded again. It really is terrible. In my opinion, most pop music in this world sounds bad. It's completely outdated. You. Shen Xiaoquan turned red with anger. Stop talking nonsense here. You can't even play the guitar, yet you dare to say such arrogant things, calling Chasing the Moon bad? I think you know nothing at all. Shen Qi shrugged. Yes, I really don't understand. Just pretend I said nothing. No, you can't. Shen Xiaoquan grabbed Shen Qi's arm. You have to play and sing a song for me. If it's not as good as Chasing the Moon, I'll tell my mom. Shen Qi felt a bit helpless. It's all because of that damn perfectionism and obsessive-compulsive disorder. Some things must not be said. Some abilities must not be shown. If Li Huanga finds out, does he still want to lie flat and sponge off her? I'm afraid he'll be drafted to work at Huanga Entertainment. No, I was just talking nonsense. I really don't know how to play guitar, and I can't write songs either. Hith hith. Shen Xiaoquan revealed a cunning adult smile. Then I'll call my mom now. No. Shen Qi quickly stopped him. Shen Xiaoquan sensed Shen Qi's nervousness, looked at him knowingly, and waited for Shen Qi's response. Shen Qi looked very troubled and conflicted. Xiaoquan, are you a man or not? What a stupid question, Shen Xiaoquan said displeasedly. Shen Qi said solemnly, then let's make a man-to-man pact. I can play and sing one song, but you absolutely cannot tell Mom. What? Shen Xiaoquan didn't understand. Isn't it a proud thing for a man to show off some abilities in front of his wife? Shen Qi shook his head. You're too young. There are some things you don't understand. Then tell me. If what you say makes sense, I'll agree with you. Shen Xiaoquan said. Shen Qi sighed and spoke seriously. Every healthy family has a division of labor. Mom is ambitious in her career, so Dad lets Mom take the lead outside and prove her worth. And all the tedious, worrisome things at home need someone to handle them. Dad is willing to step back and work like an old ox, giving and plowing for the family. Shen Xiaoquan stared with bright, wide eyes, trying to process this. Holy crap, this guy actually manages to make being a kept man sound so noble. I gotta hand it to him. No matter how you dress it up, it doesn't change the fact that he's a kept man, right? Looks like Xiaoquan doesn't acknowledge Shen Qi as his dad. Huh? Maybe it's because Shen Qi always feeds him this kind of nonsense. I wouldn't believe a word Shen Qi says. Shen Qi sighed again. Only one person in our family needs to shine brilliantly. Dad chooses to be in the shadows and watch Mom become the brightest star in China. Li Huang's heart trembled, as if something had pierced it. Was Shen Qi really thinking that way? He was willing to silently contribute in the background while I bask in the glory of being a star. Li Huang let out a humph. You make it sound so righteous, you almost had me fooled. The entertainment industry isn't so easy. Everyone only sees the glamorous surface of celebrities, but they don't know how many more are still struggling and failing to make it. Giving you $200,000 a month as allowance already surpasses how many people in the entertainment world? Just lying low is fine. Having no grand ambitions isn't a flaw. Being good at taking care of the family is why I chose you. Why make yourself sound so noble? It was the first time Li Huang realized that Shen Qi had a different side from the one he showed her. Turns out he had a bit of a goofy streak. So his usual knowledge and gentleness were all in act. Diva Huang, do you think Shen Qi can actually play the guitar and sing? Lin Xiaolu asked, her words carrying a hidden meaning. Li Huang shook her head with a smile, determined not to spoil anything from her own mouth. Then, Phil Queen Lin, what do you think? Can he or not? I think he wouldn't have been typing on the computer just to find some theory to fool Xiaoquan. I also think Shen Qi wouldn't if he really understood. He wouldn't have said chasing the moon sounded bad. My brother Qi is all-powerful, he must know it. Your brother Qi is already married, and he's a stay-at-home husband living off his wife. You women still idolize him? Looking at it now, it seems the lady of this house is a celebrity in the entertainment industry. Didn't everyone notice? Could this really be Li Huang's home? The number of viewers in the live stream kept increasing, now surging to 9 million. Some people in the bullet comments even started typing, Li Huang is home in the comments. So you're really that noble, deliberately giving the glory to my mom? Shen Xiaoquan, though precocious, was still a child and couldn't help but believe it a little. Shen Qi nodded and reached out to pat Shen Xiaoquan's head. That's why I don't want her mom to know how amazing I am, or she'll feel inferior. Fisk, stop bragging. Shen Xiaoquan frowned and pushed Shen Qi's hand away. Then play and sing for me, and I won't tell my mom. Shen Qi sighed helplessly. Then our man-to-man pact is sealed. He walked to the bedside and picked up the guitar, a familiar feeling flooding his body. Shen Qi closed his eyes slightly. This feeling, I really missed it. The afternoon sun streamed in, casting a glow over Shen Qi's tall frame and gentle face. The scene was rendered even more serene and peaceful. TSK, that's the vibe. Anyway, I don't believe he can play and sing. If he does, I'll go eat a whole pit from the village outhouse. He's so handsome. I feel like a lovesick girl again. I don't mind that Shen Qi is remarrying. Virum Shen Qi strummed a simple chord and opened his eyes. A simple prelude flowed out, and Shen Qi began to sing with deep emotion. Finally found an excuse, riding the drunkenness rising in my heart, to express all my feelings. Shen Xiaoquan's pupils suddenly dilated as he stared blankly at Shen Qi. The mature man's voice was slightly hoarse, and the faint stubble added a touch of ruggedness. Yet Shen Qi's face still carried a hint of youthful charm. Although the verse didn't have much variation, it was clearly a pleasant tune, and it also showcased Shen Qi's guitar skills. Fu Qing stared at the screen, her expression dazed as she murmured to herself. He really can do it. With that face and voice, he could really become famous. Li Huang's suspicion was actually confirmed. Li Huang's mind went blank for a moment, and her whole body seemed to go numb. He really was hiding it. As professionals, Li Huang, Zhu Yi, and Bai Qinghe all recognized it. This song was clearly a catchy love song that catered to popular taste, and paired with Shen Qi's handsome, devoted face, it delivered a strong visual impact. Yet no one had ever heard this song before. Could it really be an original? At that moment, the entire studio was extremely quiet, immersed in Shen Qi's singing, with only the barrage of comments flooding the big screen. When Shen Qi reached the chorus, the comments became even more intense. I envy your love, bold and unstoppable, like a diva whose fame never fades. What you want isn't me, but a kind of vanity. Only being cherished makes you stand out. So good, my ears are in heaven. He really can sing it? Why would he? These lyrics are incredible. I seriously suspect Shen Qi is Li Huang's husband, and Li Huang is the diva whose popularity never fades. Bullshit, Li Huang is mine. Didn't you hear it's like a diva whose fame never fades? Is it? Li Huang's lips trembled slightly. Is this song written for me? We're just in a contractual marriage. Could it be that he's fallen for me? If not, how could he write such heart-wrenching and emotionally charged lyrics and melody? Zhu Yi's eyes sparkled with stars, while Bai Qinghe and Lin Xiaolu couldn't hide their jealousy. Such a devoted man, singing so beautifully and captivatingly, it's a pity he's someone else's husband. What makes Li Huang deserve this? If one day love is no longer confusing, enough to see clearly all rights and wrongs. Until that moment in my heart, you will no longer be praised, no longer be treated as a goddess. It won't be me anymore. As the last verse ended, Li Huang's heart trembled again. Treating me as a goddess won't be you anymore. When would that be? Is it only when we're together that I won't be seen as a goddess in your heart? At that moment, a fact solidified in Li Huang's heart. Shen Qi loved her. For some reason, a hint of sweetness rose in Li Huang's heart, but it was also mixed with a sense of anger. Kid, you sure think a lot. Are you planning to live off me for the rest of your life? The thunderous applause from the studio pulled Li Huang out of her thoughts, and she couldn't help but feel a bit more irritated. Aside from not sleeping in the same bed, Li Huang and Shen Qi had gotten along very harmoniously over the past 3 years, like a pair of close friends. Shen Qi was very considerate. He often noticed when Li Huang came home carrying negative emotions from work, and he would use his warmth to soothe Li Huang, allowing Li Huang to feel completely relaxed at home. When the company needed works, Shen Qi knew that too. But since he clearly had this song, why didn't he bring it out? Was lying low really that important? With Shen Qi's final strum, the song performance was considered complete. Shen Xiaoquan asked with a hint of urgency, "What is the name of this song? Did you write it?" "The song is called Tianhou. As for whether I wrote it," Shen Qi gave a faint laugh. "Guess." The good image you just built instantly crumbled. "Which do you think sounds better, Tianhou or Zhuiyue?" Shen Qi asked. Shen Xiaoquan darkened his face and said nothing. Young as he was, it didn't mean he didn't understand. From a professional standpoint, Tianhou indeed surpassed Yue by a considerable margin, and that was even with Yue having a very mature arrangement, while Tianhou was only a live acoustic performance. Shen Qi stood up and patted Shen Xiaoquan on the shoulder. "Xiaoquan, don't forget our man's pact you can't tell your mom, okay?" Shen Xiaoquan shouted at Shen Qi's retreating figure. "Shen Qi, why didn't you show such a song to my mother? Do you think my mother has it easy running Huangji Entertainment alone? Are you really fit to be her husband?" Shen Qi's body trembled slightly. Holy shit, everyone watching the live broadcast had a thought rising in their hearts. This bastard really is just sponging off Huangji diva. Even if you're handsome, tall, and sturdy, cook great meals, and can play the piano, guitar, and compose music. So what? Are you worthy of Li Huangji? You just want to lie back and live off her, even going so far as to hide your abilities. What are you afraid of? What a petty man. Fu Qing had already stood up, glaring at Shen Qi on the screen. gnashing her teeth. Good for you, Shen Qi. I didn't want Huan Ji to end up with a freeloader back then, but I never expected you to be so scheming. The studio became noisy as everyone discussed Shen Qi's astonishing song. Many girls' eyes sparkled with stars, as if this heartfelt song was written just for them. Once it was confirmed that Shen Qi was Li Huanga's husband, countless people felt that this song was written for Li Huanga, and everyone was just being fed a sweet dose of couple love.